And then as soon as July came round, the UK was just like, nah, you're not having any more summer. Summer is gone. Here is rain. And I thought, oh no, all of my Barbie dreams have gone. I've lost them forever. Hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. Oh my goodness, we are on episode 20 now. It doesn't feel like I've been doing this for 20 weeks. I feel like that time has flown by. Anyway, before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Redpost. Redpost is a country and equestrian store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. Some sort of breaking news for you also. For everybody that's coming to my meetups on the 18th and the 19th of August, my new book, the second book actually, of the Starlight Stables gang, Jessie and the Star Rider, will be there on sale. So if you want to pick one up while you're at the meetup, that would be fab. That would be really good fun. But anyway, I can't wait to see you all there. Tickets are actually, I think there are very, very few tickets left. Like we're almost sold out. So yeah, there are a lot of you guys coming. But anyway, very, very excited for that. But anyway, let's get into today's episode. So if you've read the title of today's episode, you will know that We've had a busy time, we've had a bit of a stressful time, but it's all good. So yeah, basically, we had to do a little bit of an emergency vet call once again. I think I did like a little poll on my story, and I was like, guess which horse has had to see the vet again? Is it Duke? Is it Mickey? Is it Casper? Oh no, of course, it was Joey once again. This horse, I don't know what he does. He is so accident prone. Anyway, luckily, if you can tell by the tone of my voice, he is all right. He is doing well. Not as bad as the last time. Anyway, so I took Joey up from the field. Normal day. I was going to do a photo shoot that day. I think Lemieux had some new sort of brushing boots out, like the dressage kind of fancy white ones. And anyway, we're going to take some photos of Joey and them. So I was, cleaning away everything. When you're grooming, you do your little checks. You need to, make sure that there's, no open wounds, nothing serious, that kind of thing. And he seemed all like fine. And it was when I was brushing his legs, I realised, he's got like a tiny little cut on the outside of his leg. And at first I was like, Joey, how on earth have you got a cut on the outside of your leg? Like normally you think inside of the legs, maybe he's stepped on himself, or one of the nails in his shoes or the clenches maybe just like slightly I had a little hiccup then. Maybe one of the nails or one of the clenches on the inside of his shoes has maybe scratched himself. But no, don't know how he did it. And then we had a little think and we're like, you know what? I reckon, like he is a boy that likes to roll. Like every time he goes out in the field, he rolls all day, every day. Rolling is his favourite thing. So I reckon he has rolled into maybe like one of the posts, because he's not been in the field where he had his injury, and I feel like I'm such a cautious mum. Like I was literally saying in one of the previous episodes, I just wish I could wrap him up in bubble wrap. And I think what's happened is he's rolled into like one of the posts. So we have our kind of setup is we have electric fence, and then there are some like in the corners and things, there are some like wooden posts with like little kind of clips kind of put in them so you can clip the electric fence onto it. So I reckon he's just grazed himself ever so slightly and just had like a tiny little cut on him, which a lot of horses do, every now and again. Horses are very accident prone animals, and I feel like Joey is definitely on high up on that list of out of all the horses in this world. But anyway, so we think he gave himself a little cut, and then as I was kind of examining this little cut that he had, and like when I tell you, it was literally like the tiniest graze, nothing dramatic at all. And then I had a little feel of his leg, and I was like, oh, feels a little bit warm. And then it kind of, I don't want to say squidgy, but it was like a little bit swollen. And then it was only really when I compared it to his other back leg, I was like, oh wow, actually that is swollen. Like Joey, you've got a bit of a fat leg here. So anyway, rang the vet. The vets were absolutely flat out that day. They were so busy. So they were like, look, we can come first thing tomorrow morning. So part of me was very anxious mum, being like, oh my goodness, Joey's not going to be seen until tomorrow morning. Do I ring up a different vet? So obviously my vets didn't seem too worried or concerned about it, but I was like, oh, my baby. Anyway, our vet very kindly came 7 a.m, crack of dawn, to come and see Joey, and was like, so I did, thing is, I did a trot up with him, and he was completely sound. Like, the boy was fine. Like, if it wasn't for the swelling, I would have just, put a bit of Sudocreme on or a bit of purple spray, whack that on, all good, a bit of wound cream. But no, he was like, he was completely like sound in walk and trot. Obviously that day I didn't ride him and didn't do the photo shoot. To be fair, I don't know if the boot would have looked good, like putting it on. It would have been quite like wide on the Velcro, if you know what I mean, trying to wrap up this fat leg. Anyway, so Joey was on antibiotics for a week, and obviously the swelling all went down, and the vet was like, thing is, I kind of talked about it a little bit on my story and that kind of thing, but I was still riding Joey, like literally straight after the vet came. He was like, just take him for a light hack, just take him for a walk, hopefully the swelling can go down. I think he had a bit of like cellulitis, I think that's the word for it. It's a bit of a mouthful, but anyway, but no, he's completely fine now, completely better. Just a bit of a dramatic time. So that's kind of what's happened. I was going to say this week, because I did my little interview on my last episode with Max. I feel like I'm like 2 weeks behind on the podcast, even though I'm not, because there has been an episode at each week. But I feel like I have a lot to update you on. Also, because I've been so busy, I've been here, there, and everywhere. The podcast that is, I'm currently filming it on the day this is supposed to go out, so it's a Saturday afternoon, and this normally goes out, I feel like it on like most platforms, it goes out kind of like a Saturday evening, like 6:00ish kind of time, and then on my channel it goes out on a Sunday evening. So I was a bit like, oh my goodness, okay, need to get this podcast filmed. So I'll probably be filming next week's one as well, because next week I'm off to the Dublin Horse Show, which I'm very, very excited for, and excited to see you all there. So it has been a busy time. I feel like August is like the most crazy, busy, wild time for me, because it's like all the shows are happening, all the stuff is happening, and then I'm already thinking about filming, autumn winter collections in August. I mean, it does feel like it's the right time for it, because I was going to say July has been a washout, the beginning of August has been a bit of a washout as well. Like, I was talking to my friends about this. June over here in the UK, we had hot sunshine, beautiful, like heat waves, proper hot. And then as soon as July came round, the UK was just like, nah, you're not having any more summer. Summer is gone. Here is rain. To be fair, the arena has been pretty good. Because our arena, sometimes in the summer, it gets a little, I was going to say crunchy, that's not the right word. It just gets a bit deep when we haven't had much rain. So the arena's feeling great. But the grass is doing well. We've got we have to be careful about not letting the horses have too much grass. But I had a photo come up in my memories, and it was from last year, where we had a bit of a heat wave last year as well, and the grass was brown. Like, compared to how it looks now, like now it looks luscious and green, but last year it was that was nothing at all. So I feel like we can't complain. I mean, basically the whole of Europe and a lot of other countries have had ridiculous, like, life-threatening heat waves. So, I mean, over here in the UK, we're just chilling with our rain, so I cannot complain about that. But yeah, sorry, I've just gone on a little chat about the weather, little classic British girl, but there we go. But yeah, back to what I was saying. August is a pretty nuts month for me, because, as I was saying, Dublin Horse Show next week, so half of that week's at the Dublin Horse Show, and then the weekend is at the Longines Global Champions Tour in London. So I'm literally flying from Dublin to London, not even going back home, just going straight to London, sleeping there, and then working at that show. And then I'm back for like a few days, and then I'm off to Devon to go to Red Post for the meet and greet there. So, and then after that, I might have a day off, I think that might be healthy. So yeah, I'm gonna be pretty pooped in August, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of those things where it's like really good fun, but also I'm gonna be dead by the end of the week. Or the 2 weeks. I'm gonna need a bit of a rest. But anyway, yeah. What else? Well, I actually, because I've done, I feel like when you've done so many things, you kind of forget what you've done. So I've written a list, because I'm probably going to film 2 podcasts today, ready for next week. So I'm all scheduled and ready. I've literally written a list of all the things that I've done or been up to, just so then I don't forget anything. So yeah. Oh, the other thing that I did recently that was quite good fun, although when you listen to this, it might feel like quite a while ago now, but obviously hopped on the Barbie trend. Oh my goodness, I feel like everyone says this, but the marketing team have done a cracking job for that film. So anyway, I dressed Mickey up as Barbie, that was pretty good fun. Got, you know, the chalk safe, not chalk safe, horse safe, chalk based pony kind of, I was going to say hair dye. It's not even dye. It's just like a wash in, wash out kind of thing. So Mickey looked very cute with that. I did have a little mini panic though, because I ran out of the pink and I thought, oh no, all of my Barbie dreams have gone. I've lost them forever. Mickey's only going to be half pink. He's not going to be, you know, fully pink, because I did his mane and his tail in the end. But I had some red paint and I had some white paint and I had some purple paint, and I mixed it all together and it made this like beautiful sort of pastel-y, lilac-y, pinky colour. So Mickey was sort of pinky and lilac-y, and he looked really cute. Me and my dad, we were joking about this. We were saying, you know, I've done Barbie for the Barbie movie. How about when Halloween rolls around? Because obviously Margot Robbie plays Barbie. How about I be Harley Quinn and Mickey is the Joker, and we do that for Halloween? And we were just thinking about how funny Mickey would look as the Joker, with red face paint around his mouth, green in his mane, that kind of thing. Obviously, I'd have to make sure that none gets in his actual mouth or on his lips, so I'm a bit worried about that. But I think he would look ridiculous, and it would just be so funny. Of course, Mickey was an absolute angel when he was being dressed up as Barbie. Like, he was so good. I mean, I think he probably had the best day ever, to be honest. Like, he was standing there. Well, I was going to say sitting there. Horses don't really sit, do they? He was standing there and he was eating loads of haylage. So he was, number one, got extra food, always bonus. And then number two was getting pampered by me. You know, got a full-on groom and a bath and having like his mane played with. So he had a blast. He had a great time. The only thing that Mickey doesn't like having done too much, though, is having his face washed, especially like where his forelock is. So I tried to wash it the best I could without him being like a little bit like, girl, can you not do that, please? I do not like my face being touched. But anyway, so after, you know, grooming him and washing him, and, you know, when I was de-Barbieing him, basically, that's the best way to describe it, turned him out in the field, and because he still had a little bit of pink left on his forelock, and I mean, I kind of call him my pink pony because he has a pink nose, he has pink skin, he's cute, but he kind of looked like a Neapolitan ice cream. So because he had like, I mean, he's a Cremello, so he looked like the vanilla, and then he had brown all over him because he'd been rolling in the dirtiest patch in the field, so it was all muddy. So that was the chocolate, and then he had a little bit of pink left in his forelock, and obviously his pink nose with a strawberry. So there we go. That's what Mickey looked like for like a day. I mean, it did rain the next day, and then it all washed like any of the remaining sort of pink, I was going to say residue then. Don't know if that was the best word, but you know what I mean. The faintest of pink washed away quite quickly. So Mickey is unfortunately not a pink pony anymore. I've been using that same sort of like chalk paint, or some people said, oh, why didn't you just use hair chalk? But I find like the chalk paint works really well because you can kind of like slap it on a little bit better and kind of rub it in better. I don't know, I just think it works well. And then I got like a little brush and I like brushed his mane through so it didn't go all, like sometimes the chalk paint can make them go a bit crispy, like, you know, when you have like wet hair and it kind of dries like a little with like a bit of a cast, I don't know, that kind of thing. So anyway, Mickey looked really good. I did a TikTok also of that, and that video really blew up. I need to check now how many views it has. Last time I checked, I think it was on 1.2 million, I want to say. So that was quite good fun. And then there were loads of people being like, oh my gosh, I want to do this with my pony. Or 1.7 million. Oh, well, that's more. It goes to show how often I check my views. I feel like when you first start social media, you're always checking the views, being like, oh my goodness, like, how much has it got? But now I feel like, because it's something I do every day, all day, like, I put out at least one bit of content like once a day kind of thing. So I feel like I'm a lot better at like not checking it all the time. Like, I go to my house, I go to my cottage, and I just kind of forget. I just go back to the real world, if that makes sense. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think it's very, very healthy sort of thing that I do, because I feel like if you get too much into like, oh, how the views are doing, which sometimes it doesn't matter what you're posting. Like, it could be one of my best videos ever, and it could get less views because something else is going on, or maybe it's a national holiday in America and everyone's celebrating with their family and not watching YouTube, or I don't know. There are so many different reasons why something could not do as well as you're expecting, or even do better than you're expecting, like that TikTok. So there we go. social media is a funny place. But oh yeah, I haven't even told you, like, I went with all my friends to go and see the Barbie movie. We went on a Monday night, and at first we were like, oh my goodness, like we thought, weekend was going to be busy. We all had plans that weekend anyway, so we were like, let's go on a Monday night. It'll be nice and chilled. I'm always like, it's quite fun because all of my friends kind of live in like a small town, and then I live in the village, so I drive from my village to my friend's kind of small town, pick them all up from the small town, and then we go to like the big town, if that makes sense. And it's not even that, like, I only live half an hour away from the big town, so it's not that far of a journey, but saying all those different destinations probably made it sound like I lived like 5 hours away from any civilization. But anyway, so it's quite fun. I'm like the little taxi driver, and I pick up all my friends, and we listen to music in the car, and we all wore pink. Actually, I was going to say we all wore pink. That was a bit of a lie. Some of my friends don't own anything pink. They're not really pink people. Me, of course, I had my pink trousers on. I had my pink like jumper. To be fair, it wasn't that out there because my trousers are like a white/pink. They're like a very, very, very pastely pink. It's like, they're pink, but it's not like pink. Anyway, so I had a great time. We all had fun. We loved it. I feel like it was quite interesting because I feel like half of us after the movie was super hyped, absolutely loved it, talking about all the jokes and the things that we found funny. A few of my friends were like, it's kind of like they found it a little bit American humour. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. I feel like British humour and American humour is quite different. Also, when I was watching it, I was like, I could not believe how many like British actors and things were in it. And then I realised it wasn't filmed some of it was filmed in Hollywood, but a lot of it was filmed in like the UK. So all the there was so many of the cast were also from Sex Education, if any of you guys watched that on Netflix. So there we go. So it was so fun. I was like, the whole time I was being like, oh, you're that guy from that film, or you're that girl from that film, and that kind of thing. But it was a blast. I liked the tunes. Afterwards I was like, I just had all the tunes stuck in my head, to be honest. So yeah, it was good fun. Good movie. I enjoyed it. But there we go. There were some bits where like I was going through TikTok like straight after watching the film, and I was looking, because obviously I hadn't seen I'd seen it, so there weren't any spoilers. Don't worry if you haven't seen it, won't be talking about any spoilers. Not really that I would say. It's not really a sort of film that you could spoil, I guess. There aren't, like, I don't know. Like, it just kind of like happens. It's not like there's like a big thing or plot twist, or I don't know. A lot of people were saying that it made them really sad, and a lot of people cried. So I could understand that. I think the best way to describe it is it kind of made you emotional in the sense where it's kind of like you kind of realised, because the film is a 12, so it's not designed for kids. It's designed for people. I'd say the film is designed for people who had a Barbie when they were a child, but now no longer play with the Barbie. If you're still the age where you play with Barbies, then it probably is going to be a little bit too adult for you. I think that's the best way I'd describe it. So, but no, it was kind of like sad in the sense where a lot of it was kind of like, you're an adult now, and when you're a kid, you think the world is a very happy and lovely place, which I try and make my kind of channel and social medias to be like sort of happy and lovely, safe kind of place for people. But it kind of made you think like, oh yeah, the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows kind of thing. But yeah, no, it was good. I feel like I kind of want to watch it a second time, because there'll be like so many like little extra details that you probably wouldn't have noticed the first time watching it, or like little like kind of things in the background, and I think they did. I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again. I had a good fun. I just felt like it was a very like, also watching it in the cinema with all my sort of like girlfriends, and then like in the cinema it was just a group of women, and then there were these people right at the back of the cinema, and it was amazing because at every joke they were cackling and laughing so loud, and it just made it even funnier hearing all like this laughter in the background. It was definitely like, I don't know, the atmosphere was a really lovely kind of happy place. So there we go. What else have I been up to? Sorry, I'm gonna have to check my list again. I feel really unprofessional doing this, but I went and saw that 2 weeks ago. I feel like a lot has happened in those 2 weeks. So was it even 2 weeks? Maybe it was even longer. Oh yeah. Something else that happened was after Joey recovered from his injury, I went and took him on the hills. We went for a lovely sort of ride around there, and that's honestly one of my favourite places because we can go there in the winter and it's not too like muddy because it's up on a hill. Obviously all the water kind of drains down, so it's not like a proper bog like some of the places are where we live. So we took him there, and when I was writing down like all the things I was doing, it just reminded me of this really funny story. Now normally when I like think of like a random story, I literally just sit here and just like verbal diarrhea all over you. Sorry, that didn't sound very nice, but you know what I mean. Like I'll literally, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you'll know that I'll literally just sit here and just chat away. And it's almost like after filming, I kind of think to myself, what did I even talk about for half an hour or 45 minutes kind of thing? Because I often just like think of like little stories and then kind of intertwine them with what I'm talking about. But when I was on my hack with Joey, it just reminded me of this one time. And when I tell you, these hills are like steep, like they are proper steep. They're so steep that there's this one hill that's so steep that what I do with Joey is I walk him. Some people probably say it's quite bad. I like kind of trot him up the hill, but it's so steep that it's easier for him to canter up the hill than to trot it. So I kind of trot a little bit and then he's like, okay, I'm going to canter it so I can just get it over and done with kind of thing. So it's a bit more momentum to get him up this hill. But anyway, it was that exact hill one day. I think it was, can't remember when it was now. It was maybe a few winters ago. I took Joey there and there were this couple. And they were probably like a retired couple, like they were on the older side, and they went down this really steep hill on scooters. Like I can't remember if they were like, I was gonna say 4x4 scooters. They definitely weren't 4x4 scooters, but you know what I mean. Like maybe like scooters that were a little bit more designed for off terrain. Like they only had 2 wheels, but maybe they were electric scooters. But when I tell you, they were zooming down this hill, and the whole time I was watching them I was like, one of them's going to stack it, one of them's going to go over the handlebars. Like it was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. Like that is not your normal everyday sort of thing that you pass when you go for a hack. You know, maybe the odd person with a dog. Like normally I don't really see anybody on that route because it's quite a long one. You would only really do it if you were on a mountain bike or a horse, because I don't even know how long the route is. I want to say maybe like 10 miles, 7 miles, that kind of thing. Like it depends which route you do, because there's one which is a little bit longer, but yeah, it's a good long route, so you don't really normally see anyone around there. So I was like, good on you fellas, go down that hill. I mean, I was really hoping that they were not going to fall off, because I was like, that it gave me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. Like I always have nightmares. I feel like this is like a really weird, like reoccurring nightmare that I have. But I always have a nightmare that I'm walking up a hill and then it just gets steeper and steeper until it kind of goes back on yourself. And then I'm kind of like clinging on for dear life. And then I kind of fall. So yeah, I don't know why. That's just like a random reoccurring nightmare that I have. Like I don't think I've ever had, people always say they have nightmares like that they're naked somewhere. I don't think I've ever had like a nightmare where I've been naked in public places. I don't know. Maybe I'm that, or like a lot of people say they have nightmares that their like teeth fall out. I don't think I've ever had that actually either. I think I've had a nightmare where like, I know this is a really weird nightmare that I had once. I had a nightmare that these girls from my school shaved my eyebrows off. Like that is, I feel like that is a weird dream. Like I woke up and I was like, do I still have eyebrows? And I was like, yeah, no, that was a dream. That was a dream. So there we go. Nightmares are really weird. I don't even know how we got onto the topic, but there we go. Very, very strange. What else have I been up to with my boy? Not with the horses, but something I did do. Something that we do in my sort of friendship group every single summer is, because a lot of my friends are sort of like farmers and things, so went to this one of my friends' kind of farms where they have like a big hill, and we basically get a lot of I was going to say tarpaulin. It's not really tarpaulin, it's, you know, the sort of sheets that you wrap silage with, that stuff, I'm pretty sure, because I think there was one bit which I felt so bad for my friend. It had a bit of cow dung on, so I'm really not advertising this, am I? I promise you, we had so much fun, it was great. But this is how British country people have fun in the summer. You know, we don't have fancy water slides like in Spain and things like that. Oh no, we get a bit of plastic on a hill that might have a bit of cow poo on, and then we get this probably sounds really bad if there was areas where like there was hose pipe bans. We never do this when it's a hose pipe ban or there's not enough water. there's been plenty of water in July, I'll tell you that, as I was saying earlier. So, and then we get like a big container with water in, put it on the back of someone's like Land Rover kind of thing, and then we open it, like every now and again we let a bit of water out so it goes down the bit of plastic, and then we slide down, we get loads of like fairy liquid or what is dish soap. There we go. I feel like it's one of those like name brands that, don't worry, today's podcast is not sponsored by Fairy Liquid, it's sponsored by Red Post, but anyway, it's one of those name brands that you just like say the name of the brand rather than stuff. Anyway, dish soap, there we go. Or washing up liquid, that's the British version. Dish soap sounds more American. Washing up liquid is the more British version. Anyway, now we've got that cleared out of the way. So yeah, we would spray it all on the tarp and then we'd just slide down, and it's so much fun. But my top tips, if you're going to do that, I every year wear a long sleeve, I basically just wear my riding stuff, wear a long sleeve base layer, and I wear leggings, because if there's one bit that doesn't have enough water and doesn't have enough soap on, all the carpet burn is not good. Ooh-wee. Anyway, also one year we accidentally put it on a bit where there were loads of thistles, and like the thistles kind of was sprouting in little holes through the top, so that wasn't very good either. Like there are a few prickles in places that you do not want prickles. But yeah, that soap does get everywhere. Like by the end, you were just absolutely covered. We used some, would you call it a lilo? Is that the word for it? Or like a blow up? There was one that was the shape of a pineapple, one that was a flamingo, and we kind of, those were better because a lot of the lads, they would run and just bash onto the ground. Like the ground is hard. Even though we've had a lot of rain, like the ground is still quite hard, even though it's slippery. And so many of my friends had bruises last year. So this year I was like, I did get a few little bruises here and there, but I didn't go as hard. You know, this year I was like, you know what? I'm like, you do ache a little bit the day after, but the best runs I did was when I was holding hands with my boyfriend, because we had like more weight then, we had a bit more momentum, and he kind of like pulled me down, so we went quite fast like that. But if you go on your own, then I felt like all the boys were going so fast because they were a bit heavier than us and they were shooting down, and then us girls, we struggled a little bit more to go as fast, but I got some good runs. It was really good fun. So yeah, that is what British farmers get up to in the summer. Another thing that I would love to do, which I've seen a lot of people online do, is, you know, when you get loads of hay bales and you kind of stack them in just touch the mic then, sorry about that. When you kind of get loads of hay bales and you stack them in kind of like I guess the best way to describe it is you make a hay bale pool. So it's kind of like a raised pool, and then you get like a big plastic sheet and put it inside, and then you'll kind of make a little DIY pool. But again, I feel like the UK is the best country for that, because we've had a lot of rain, so we don't have to worry about sort of water shortages and wasting water, because we've been having a lot recently. Also, every single year we do the sort of tarpaulin slide. It rains. The last 3 years it has rained, and tell you what, I'd say it's probably better when it rains, because there's more wetness on the sheet, so it's a little bit more slippery. So yeah, that was great fun. When we were younger, we used to have like a little play frame in the garden, and what we would do is we'd get a little sheet, and then you would actually go really fast, because we'd get the hose pipe, tie it to the top of the slide on the play frame, and then we'd go down the slide, and then we'd just carry on shooting along, like literally the whole other side of the garden. So yeah, good times. Also, thought I would do a little bit of a cottage update, because I feel like I haven't done one for a while. I really need to film more cottage renovation videos. I did a meetup recently, and so many of you were saying how much you really enjoyed that series, especially like a lot of mothers and daughters. I feel like watching those videos together, which is really lovely. So yeah, I need to do more of those. The cottage, that's one thing I get asked the most, especially at meet and greets, like how's it going? So I feel like all of the kind of construction work, like the house is now, it's stable, it's sound, it's all good. It's not going to fall down like it did when I first bought it, but it's at the moment it's just kind of like I'm not going to say I've had like a pause from doing stuff, because I've been doing like lots of little stuff. Like each week I'll order like a little thing, and then it arrives and I'll put it somewhere, even if it's like a little. I've got a new coffee table. That's not a little thing, that was quite expensive. I was meaning more like little side tables, because yeah, there were a few times where I didn't have a side table, so I was just kind of like, this sounds really bad, balancing my glass of water on the sofa, and it was a bit precarious. And my boyfriend was like, Esme, please just put it on the floor. Don't put it on the sofa, because it was on the edge. And he was like, girl, it's too scary for me. It's going to knock over. It's going to spill. So, yeah, I now have a side table, so I'm not going to be spilling any more water. And I only spilled it once, just saying, only once. I mean, I am known for being pretty clumsy. Like, I am one of those, I am that person that will always get food down me. I will always, like, spill a drink or accidentally spill something down me. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. I feel like just sometimes I'm just not that coordinated. I think maybe with my dyslexia, I don't know if I have dyspraxia as well. Is that the thing where you're not quite coordinated? Because I feel like I probably have that. But anyway, back to the cottage update. My favourite thing recently has been thrifting vintage artwork. So in one of the nearest towns, kind of where I go every now and again when I do leave the house or leave the farm, there's like quite a lot of vintage shops kind of in our area. So I love going to there and like finding like secondhand pieces or going to charity shops, that kind of thing. But also my favourite thing, I know I've said this before, but I love Etsy. Etsy is my go-to place because I feel like Etsy has all the stuff that nobody else has. Like there are some pieces where it's just like one thing and like you're the only person that has that thing that person's made, or if they make something custom as well, like it just feels so cool. Like I don't want to be like, I'm not like other girls, but you know, it makes your house feel more like a home and more unique. So I've been loving buying lots of like vintage kind of pretty flower paintings or landscapes. I've recently got one and it is so cute. It's like a little scenic landscape. It's an oil painting as well, and it is an original. And oh my goodness, the prices, I cannot believe how good they are. Like, to be fair, I don't know how many people would want a landscape picture with some cows on, but that is right up my street and I love it. It's got like little Frisian cows in the background and there's like a little river, and I just think it looks so pretty. So I'm thinking of maybe putting that up in my bedroom. I've got like tiny little DIY flower pictures up that I basically bought this book for 50 pence from an old bookshop in the village, cut out the little kind of pictures, put them in frames, and I made my own little artwork. So I might take those down and put them somewhere else and then put the big painting above my bed. I feel like that would look really good. The other thing that I've been doing recently is, I've also, another little new thing. This was quite a big purchase, actually. This is probably one of the most expensive pieces of furniture I've bought. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a chest of drawers, but not a chest of drawers. It's like a dresser without the top bit. So that actually is going under my TV. And my boyfriend, who's very handy, has very kindly, because I've got one of the frame like TVs. I bought it in the Black Friday sale last sort of Christmas time, because that was actually a really good time, because I moved in the October, and then I was like, I'm just going to wait to buy everything when Black Friday becomes a thing, when all the sales are on. So even though it's a little bit more of a fancier TV, I cannot lie, because I got such a good deal on it on the Black Friday sale. It was kind of like the price of like the normal TVs that I was looking at. So that is very fancy, because it literally looks like a picture frame. And what he's done is he has made two little holes in the wall, one where the TV is and one where this kind of dresser is underneath, and he has chased the cable through the wall and out again, so it looks like the TV doesn't have any wires, so it literally looks like a frame. So that's what I've been doing. I was messaging my physio D about that, or like she's kind of like my physio and my trainer. If you've been watching my channel, you'll know. But I was messaging her, because I'm really good friends with her, about how we've done it, because we were having a whole conversation about how we were going to hide these wires in my cottage. But anyway, so that's been the sort of fun thing today that we've been doing this morning, and moving that sort of dresser in as well. Like, that was pretty hefty. I had to get my dad and my boyfriend to help me carry that in, so very, very lucky and very grateful for them with all their help. But yeah, also the cupboards that everyone has been asking, like, I think I said in the video, like, please comment on everything. Esme, you need to paint your cupboards, because it's getting ridiculous now. I moved in, when was it? I moved in like Easter weekend, and these cupboards, they've been like that since January, February, and I still haven't painted them yet. So, but we've started on the prep work. The prep work has been started, so we're moving forward. We're getting there. So then, after I've done that, downstairs is actually complete. that sounds scary to say, but I think I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I have a mess room at the moment. It's the smallest kind of room upstairs, and that has it still has the extra carpet from when I had everything recarpeted after the carpet moth disaster. So the carpet people just left it in that room. So I don't know if I need to put it in the attic and then I can keep a bit. So then in case there's any spillages, I can fix it. I've got some spare carpet. So and then it's also got all the paint pots, paint brushes, boxes of stuff that I haven't put in storage yet or needs to go in the attic, or I think my Christmas decorations are still in that room. That's not very good. Oh no, I think I did actually move them into the attic before the carpet people came. What else? It's got like the hand sander, saws, that kind of thing. So that's like the DIY room. So yeah, that's kind of everything really. I've just put some mirrors, put some pictures up, and got a few little more bits of furniture. So I do need to do another episode. I'm very excited. I've got these bedside tables, that's the one that I thrifted, that I need to do up. They are currently sitting in my dad's shed with all the sort of his kind of power tools and stuff in there. So I need to sand them down, paint them, but yeah, that is the next job, because at the moment I was going to say the master bedroom, all the bedrooms are kind of like the same size. In my bedroom, but actually we've been recently calling the spare room Ruby's room, because when my boyfriend's dog Ruby stays at mine with him and me, she I don't know what it is, it's so cute. Like she'll sleep on our bed for like a little bit, and then once we've fallen asleep, she'll hop off and she'll go and sleep in the spare room, and she'll sleep on the spare bed. Like, don't worry, this isn't bad behaviour. We let her go on that bed because that room's also kind of an office. So sometimes when my boyfriend works in there, we let her like lie on the spare bed. So we kind of joke that that's Ruby's room now. She's made a little home there. So there we go. It's weird because at his house, she knows not to go upstairs. Like, there's nothing on the stairs or anything. Like, she just knows, like, I'm not allowed to go upstairs, so I never go upstairs. And to be fair, when she's at mine, she only comes upstairs if we say, like, come on in. So that was my little dog voice then. So but she loves it. She loves staying with us. And I think it's because the first few times she stayed at my house, we were like, oh, she can like stay in, our room with us kind of thing. So she doesn't feel lonely downstairs in like a strange place, even though she's not that kind of dog at all. We always say she's the most easily kidnappable dog, because she finds everyone friendly, wants to be friends with everyone, and will be like, yeah, I'll come along with you. You seem nice. Yeah, go for it. So anyway, I think that's kind of how that started. But yeah, we let her cuddle in bed with us sometimes, so she's very sweet. But she only gets on the bed when we let her, and she knows she's loud on the one in her room because that is Ruby's room. So there we go. What else was I saying? I don't even know how I got onto Ruby. Was I talking about, I don't know. I was talking about what I'll have in each room, I think. And yeah, just basically I've put some new decorations up. But yeah, hopefully when I'm back from all my travels and all my exciting meetups and shows and that kind of thing, I will get back on the cottage renovation grind, because it's that kind of weird stage where almost everything is done, but not quite. Also, there's the whole garden. I need to do like a garden renovation project. Like, I've got the summer house that probably I want to turn into like an at-home gym. I've been saving up, because having a house is very expensive. I've been saving up for a new patio, which probably, I was going to say definitely won't be done by the end of summer, but it feels like summer has already ended because the weather's been so bad. But there we go. No, very much looking forward to that. But anyway, I feel like I've been whittling. Whittling is when you like get a little stick and you make it into a spike, isn't it? That is not what I was meaning. Wittering, that is what I mean, wittering. I've been wittering away for quite a while now, and I do need to film a second podcast straight after this, where I'll probably just put a different jumper on, but there we go. So if next week's podcast I look quite similar, that is why, because I need to kind of pre-film one, but it's fine because I've still got a lot more to chat about. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Thank you again to Red Post, the sponsors, for sponsoring the podcast. Really hope you enjoyed hearing what I've been up to lately. And yeah, excited to see you all at the Dublin Horse Show next week. So yeah, thanks for listening. See you next time. Bye.